Hi everyone, En-Mao here and welcome to this Dark Souls 2 boss fights video. Unfortunately, one of the bosses, the Dark Lurker, is missing, but the rest of them are all done on New Game Plus. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go again. So, without further ado, let's get on with boss number 1, the Last Giant. Now, as some of you probably know and have seen, I did a previous Dark Souls 1 boss fights video where I played as a melee character. And I thought, well, this time on Dark Souls 2, I'll have a go as a caster. So that's what this one is mainly. There are a couple of bosses where you'll see me fighting as melee because the footage from the caster wasn't really that good. So I thought I'd put the melee character in as well. And also, when it gets to the end where I'm fighting the DLC bosses, that is on the very first playthrough and not on the New Game Plus version. Anyway, first boss is up and here he comes, starting straight coming for us. So what we do is run to the back of him. Now outside of the area there are two people who you can summon in. One of them is Pate, I think his name is, and the other one is the shield bashing guy. I can't remember for the life of me what his name is. But they both come in with you and they will tank this boss if you're a caster pretty much. All you've got to do is just stay away from where the giant sweeps the floor or falls over on you and just keep casting that soul arrow or the soul spear. Luckily enough, because of this being New Game Plus or whatever it was, I have got a shit ton of soul spears and this guy dies very quickly and it adds to my total of souls. So there we go. First boss down, boss defeated. So, boss number 2 is the Pursuer boss, and this boss can be a bit of a pain in the ass because you have to use the parry when he very first attacks you. What we do, we get the little cutscene come on, and then we'll go through and see if we can take him on. If you hit the parry right, you can run straight to the ballista, which is behind him, and fire all the shots that you need to do to kill him in one go. I managed to get 3 shots off and do him straight away. You'll see it in this run here. So the cutscene finishes where he's been dropped off by the bird and I run in. Now I had been killed here, so he comes over and he'll slide across the floor and I hit the parry on him. I don't know if I get it the first time actually. No, he hits me first. That was unfortunate. But he does hit like a train, so you get away and allow it so that when he could slide back across the floor at you, rather than the fast dash that he does like a slower kind of glide. Oh, we need to heal up here. This is going a bit wrong. But you want to try and keep him away from the ballista so that he doesn't smash them up. Now you're going to see he's going to do the slide and hit the parry. As soon as you hit the parry, run to behind this and just fire it as fast as you can. If you do it quick enough, you can get 3 shots off. And boss defeated. Get in. Boss number 3 is the Dragon Rider boss. Now this guy isn't too hard. The thing is, when I first started doing him, I didn't know that you could make the whole of the floor around where he's standing. So I used to try and fight him on the smallest circle and then wonder why I kept falling down out the sides. Well, on the way round I found out that there's several switches that you can now press and it brings up the floor around him and makes this fight a hell of a lot easier. Thing is, all you got to do is keep away from the cleave and the overhead smash that he does and try and stop him when he does the shield bash, and that's it basically. As a caster you can run around, keep out of his distance, roll away when he's about to do the hit and just keep firing them soul arrows or soul spears at him and take him down pretty quickly. You will get to fight several more of these bosses throughout the game as trash mobs as well, so just make sure that you can use this one as a little bit of practice for what's coming up a bit further on in the game. But there we go, boss defeated. Boss number 4 is an old nemesis. We have fought this guy in Dark Souls 1, the Old Dragonslayer. I'm not too certain if it is the same guy, but he does exactly the same moves as the guy in Dark Souls number 1, but instead of having his big fat mate dancing around with him, he's on his own in the Cathedral of the Blue. So, right, without further ado, this is how we did this fight. We had a bit of a problem. I did get hit quite often here, just due to me mistiming the roll out the way. This guy is not so hard when he's on his own. What makes him hard in Dark Souls 1 is the two of them together. This one, when he's on his own, he's not so bad. He nearly does get me a couple of times in this fight because of things like that where he's jumping in a straight line and then turns at the end and hits me with his spear. But I do manage to get him, but he does several different moves. He does a jumping sort of dark magic spell that he can do. He does a jumping spear smash, and it's basically the other moves that he used to do in Dark Souls 1, but instead of using lightning, he uses dark magic. But the secret to this guy, just keep rolling out the way of him, try and stay at distance as a caster, keep firing them soul spears and soul arrows at him, and eventually he will go down. He does hit really hard when he hits you, but just make sure that you try and get out the way of him, and use line of sight if you have a problem at all with healing up or anything. Try and get behind the pews, or try and get behind a column where he can't just run and smash you straight away, and then he should go down pretty easily. As you can see, boss defeated. Okay, so boss number 5 is the Flexile Sentry, and he is found at the end of No Man's Wharf on the ship, just before we go to the Lost Bastille. On New Game Plus Plus, he drops in with these 2 extra shadow dudes who you really have to kill pretty quick, because they can poison you and they can cause a lot of problems. So take them down as fast as you can, they don't take much damage, and then get on to that boss. As soon as you go in there, try and get the NPCs. There's 2 NPCs you can summon. One is Lucatiel and one is some bloke from the Old Guard. And you can summon them both pretty much outside the boss fight. So once you've got them in with you, they will tank the boss. And if you're a caster, you just stand at distance, firing over the soul spears. Try not to over aggro and take the aggro off the tanks, because obviously that's certain death. And eventually this guy turns into a trash mob as you're going up towards the Lost Sinner a bit later on. But there we go, boss defeated. Boss number 6 is the Trio Sentinels, and they are found in the Lost Bastille, and you drop through onto a little platform through the boss fog, and there's one of them waiting for you as you drop through. Try not to get killed by him because he does hit hard, but I made a mistake there and fell off the side. Luckily enough, the 2 NPC summons that you can get up to this fight as well, one is called Felicia the Brave and the other one is called Belfry. They both come in with you and they can tank that guy up on the top, and you can just fire at him from down below if you're a caster. If you're a melee character, then you would have a bit of a problem because you would wait for him to come down. Luckily enough, we take him down as soon as we can, really quickly, and then I was able to get onto these next 2 bosses that come along. We need to take these down pretty quick as well. Luckily enough, the one guy gets taken over by the 2 NPCs, and I just have to then keep on dancing around out of the way of this other guy who I wished would be picked up by the other NPC, but that's not what happens. And I'm able to just carry on occasionally firing and helping the NPCs out who are doing this boss pretty well. They've taken him down to nearly a third of his health left. Anyway, we managed to get a few shots at him. We've got to be careful though as well, because these guys throw the shield at you. They do like a spinny whirlwind attack, and they do an overhead smash. The one guy just threw his shield there, which is good for us, because as soon as he throws his shield, he loses all of his defense. He can't block his shots or anything. So luckily for us, he lost his shield. We were able to then pummel him from a distance. Felicia the Brave's taking a pounding, but we managed to do it. The other guy, Belfry, did some real heavy damage to this guy, but not too much of a problem. Boss defeated. Boss number 7 is the Belfry Gargoyles. Now this one is a bit of a problem because there is only one summon that you can take in with us, and you have to defeat 6 gargoyles, and it's a bit tough because if you don't defeat them fast, then you get over swamped and they really give you a pasting. With these, it's a DPS race basically. Try and kill them as fast as you can, don't get hit, and try and stay away. They do several different moves. One of them will do fire, they'll fly up in the air, they'll land in front of you and they'll try and hit you. Luckily enough, our NPC over there started taking a lot of the aggro, and I was able to keep on firing the soul spears over and take them down in a pretty quick sort of way. It could have been a lot faster. It does get a bit messy though when the NPC kind of dies because, well, he doesn't survive this, and I was a bit silly there. I should have moved out of the way. But as you can see, it kind of becomes a bit of a clusterfuck when they all start spawning in, and if you don't kill them fast enough, they all spawn in together, and obviously fighting 6 gargoyles at the same time is not my idea of a party either. So there's one of them down. We have taken a couple of the others down. As soon as the 6 of them are dead, that is it. The boss is completed, or the bosses are complete. There we go. Luckily enough, when that guy got vanquished, there was only 1 gargoyle left, and the boss is defeated. So, boss number 8 is the Lost Sinner. Now, on the way up to him, there are several NPCs that you can call in. I called in 4 because in the last bit of this, when you're in the New Game Plus, he also spawns in one of the witches. I think it's from Dark Souls 1, who's a fire witch. So it's best to always have a couple of extra people with you. This guy is a lot harder if you don't put the lights on in the place where you're fighting him. Now I think I forgot to put the lights on when I was fighting him this time, so this is a bit of a dark video. I apologise for that, but I did summon in also another NPC, sorry, 2 NPCs and a player to take him down. We fought him pretty much in the dark, and it was a case of when you're getting down to halfway, he summons in this other witch, and for some reason the targeting was really poor in this go because, well, I don't understand it. Sometimes the targeting is really bad in Dark Souls 2, but in the dark for some reason it seemed even worse than it normally was. But as you can see, the fire witch comes and jumps in. We have to take her down as fast as we can because she does a lot of damage with the pyromancy, and there's also another one who's the other side who causes a bit of a problem. So we take that one down. The other NPC went and took that other guy out. And then we're back onto the Lost Sinner, who just jumps around, spins around, and just tries to slice you with his sword. Not too much of a hard boss. A lot easier as a melee character, in my opinion. But, boss defeated. Boss number 9 is the Executioner's Chariot, and as a caster, I have to say this is one of the harder bosses on Dark Souls 2. Best thing to do is cast Yearn as you run up here. Try and stay out of the way of the chariot that's running around. As you carry on going, you're able to get a little bit further up, and you must kill the caster who is in one of these alcoves to stop the skeletons from spawning. Unfortunately, I had killed him previously and we were able to carry on moving up. I keep running up, and as you can see, more skeletons are spawning, but they're going straight for the Yearn. So I have to just carry on running around. Luckily enough, I dived out of the way of the chariot there, but I'll keep going around, and there is another caster a little bit further up here who I had to kill. I've managed to kill him, and you pull this lever right at the end, and the gate will come down, and that will stop the chariot from going around, and the horse is the next thing that you have to fight, as well as any extra skeletons that are left over. Here's the chariot coming around for the final time, smashes through the gate and breaks up. The executioner dies, but his horse doesn't, and his horse wants revenge on you. So what we have to do is just basically try and get out of the way of it, because it does dark magic. It does like a jumping slam. It does a kick with its back legs, and it also fires dark magic from its nostrils. As you can see, I've also got other skeletons that didn't die from earlier on when I was firing Yearn backwards, who are also coming to join in this fight. So try and take them out, as well as the horse, if you can do. It's just a case of rolling out the way of all of the stuff and hiding in the alcoves away from the horse. As you can see, the horse will start firing dark magic at you. Just stand in the alcove out of the way, heal up, the dark magic will just pass straight past you, and then you can go back out and continue firing your soul arrows back at him, or the soul spears, or whatever it is that you're using. As a melee character, it felt that this fight was a lot easier, but there we go, the boss is defeated. Boss number 10 is the Skeleton Lords, and these are found just under the waterfall, right at the end of the Huntsman's Copse. Now what it is with these, there are 3 big skeletons who get down off their thrones, and when you kill one of them, a shit ton of other little skeletons also spawn that you have to also kill. So keep in mind that you need to keep some of your spells back for killing the other skeletons, and try not to miss when you're doing the shots at the big guys. As you can see, the first skeleton lord has gone down, and now a load of other little skeletons are going to spawn around him. I did bring in an NPC as well, who can be found in the caves right near to the gate. There's a gate inside the caves, and he will come down and help you on this fight. He will also tank the big skeleton lords while you just keep on moving and rolling around out the way, healing up when you can, and killing all of these other skeletons that come at you. It feels like I'm in the film Jason and the Argonauts with the amount of skeletons that are coming to fight me here. Anyway, you just keep rolling away, the tank's tanking the bosses, we just keep on taking out these little skeletons. Eventually, once all of these skeletons are down, we'll then pick off another boss, and he will then summon either more skeletons, or he will summon the cartwheel skeletons that were a pain in the arse on Dark Souls 1. So if you want to fight the cartwheel skeletons first, then that's fair enough. Just keep trying to kill one of the bosses, and do them one at a time. It makes it a lot easier, and it saves it just being a complete clusterfuck at the end. If you've got AoE though, it's not so bad, because you can just fire off AoE moves. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of them in my inventory at the time. So what you do, you just keep on moving around. As you can see, our other guy has also been vanquished now. These other skeletons are coming out there holding bigger swords, and they kind of block more of the moves as well. But it won't take long, they'll all die eventually. Keep firing the soul spears, and the crystal soul spears especially good on these, because it fires through them as well and takes out the ones that are behind. We take them out, no problem here. Oh, got hit by a fireball there. Didn't do too much damage to us. So here we go on with the great soul arrows to kill these off, and then we'll be able to take on the final boss, who is the final skeleton lord. And when we kill him, all we have to do is deal with the skeletons that are on the steering wheels. Before we do him though, we're just going to quickly eat some food, just so that we get enough spells back to be able to finish this fight off. It's always better to keep some food on you as a caster, just in case you run out of spells like I did, or you want to just finish them off a little bit quicker than normal. More soul arrows. You're going to get it in the face, Mr. Skeleton, if you come near me, especially now I've got that up around my head. Quickly run over here and pick this up. I don't know what it is, but it's something that they've dropped, and I like picking things up that the stuff drops. There we go, he is down, and as you can see, the wheels have started spawning. All we've got to do is take them out. I think there's only 3 or 4 wheels that spawn, so it's not as bad as when you're on Dark Souls 1 and there's a load of the wheels. But there we go, the boss is defeated. So, boss number 11 is the Royal Rat Authority, and this is the video part where I'm playing as a melee character because the other video got corrupted. You start off and you have to kill these 4 rats that run at you as fast as possible because they can poison you or make you toxic, which will drain your energy really fast. As soon as they're down, the giant rat will join in the fight, and it's just basically the same as the Great Grey Wolf Sith fight from Dark Souls 1, apart from he doesn't have a sword in his mouth. He does the jumping around and he does a swipe at you with his front paws, and he does this sort of, well, it's a swipe with his head. That is the 3 main moves that this boss does. All you got to do is try and stand either behind him or underneath him. And, well, I'm not making a very good video of it here, but you've got to try and get underneath him or stay at the back of him to make this fight a hell of a lot easier than what I'm making it look. Once you can start hitting his back legs, it kind of makes a fight a lot easier. See him with his tongue hanging out. We'll just keep on chopping at the back. And as you can see, one more hit, boss defeated. So the next boss is boss number 12, the Prowling, Magus and the Congregation. To make this fight a little bit easier, you can summon in Benhart of Juno. He can be found in the tent as long as you've spoken to him in his previous positions in the game. This fight is just 3 casters and a couple of hollow zombies. Nothing too major. Benhart will come in, he will do what he can. All you need to do is stand back out of the way, try and dodge out of any spells that are cast at you, and just keep on firing them soul arrows at the different things that are in the room. They will go down pretty easy, especially the zombie congregation. They die really fast, like 1 hit. And then once you've done that and cleared all them, it's time to just concentrate on the casters. Once they go down, it's game over and the boss is defeated. Boss number 13 is the Duke's Dear Freja. Now, this boss, unfortunately, I didn't record as I was playing through. I was only recording the boss fights. Now, on New Game Plus Plus, I didn't know this happened, but Freja spawns outside of this fight elsewhere in the map, and you have to fight her before going in and fighting the congregation. Unfortunately, I didn't record that part of the fight, but it's pretty much you just do a bit of damage to her and she runs off and gets down here into her nest. So luckily enough, when I start this fight, she's got a big chunk of the health already taken off her. The other 2 guys who come in are the NPCs who are outside that you can summon. They tank the boss, you stand at distance and you just fire at the head or the arse and make sure that the hits go down. Also, try and take out the spiders as you're doing it as well, just so that they don't poison you or cause you any problems. Just keep an eye out for the laser beam that the Duke's Freja fires. As you can see, doing it there, I rolled into it rather than rolling away from it like a donut. And then just make sure that you don't get stamped on by them iron feet that she uses. Other than that, just keep on firing at the face and at the mouth or at the arse, and these should go down pretty easily. If you start hitting the feet, just move to the side a little bit so that the cast goes through and you can get it done. The 2 NPCs that you take in will you pretty much do a lot of damage on this fight anyway. Also, don't get hit by that yellow stuff. That breaks all of your gear and can be very costly. But as you can see, we're just going to start firing at the back side of it now because it's a lot easier to get round to the back and takes a lot more damage as well, seemingly from the back. But boss is defeated. Boss number 14 is the Covetous Demon. I don't know if I've said that right, but he is just a giant slug-like Jabba the Hutt type of creature. And if I'm honest with you, he's very slow to move around. You could be able to do him. I think I actually do this, but you can do him without even getting hit as a caster. Just keep rolling out the way, firing the soul spears over at him, or firing the other spears that you have, and just whenever he gets close to you, roll away. He does this big belly flop thing, and he does a kind of lick with his tongue. And then also he can roll at you as well, but if you're rolling out the way, he's not going to hit you. He's very slow, very easy, one of the easiest bosses of Dark Souls, and you do actually fight him again in the DLC, but nothing to worry about there. Boss defeated. The next boss, number 15, is Mytha, the Baneful Queen. And my setup was completely wrong for this one. You need to go into this fight as a pyromancer. Luckily enough, outside there was Jester Thomas, who does a shit ton of fire damage on this boss. But I got him to come in with me, and there was also another NPC. I can't remember who that was I brought in. But as you can see, Jester Thomas does some serious damage to this bitch. Magic doesn't really do much, and when she goes off into the little area outside of the circle that we're in, she starts healing herself. So try and just take her down as fast as you can. My magic doesn't do much damage, but if you went in as pyromancy, you would be taking so much off her. As you can see, whenever Jester Thomas gets a decent hit on her, it makes her eat her own shit. So we keep on firing at her, and eventually she will go down, but try not to let her get into that little ring outside. And once again, boss is defeated. Boss number 16 is the Smelter Demon, and this is the first time that we fight the Smelter Demon. This demon doesn't have any resist to magic, so it's a good spell thing to go in and start hitting him with. We managed to get out the way, and in this I take in two of the people with me. One of them is Lucatiel, the NPC, and the other was another player who was sat outside waiting for people to come along and be a sunbro with him. So I take him in as well, and basically we let Lucatiel tank him, and we just keep on spamming the magic, and well, the other guy's doing dark magic across the room at the Smelter Demon. So we just keep on doing this, and I have to get back actually, because at this point he goes and puts his sword through his stomach, and this is when he starts jumping around and doing the explosion. Luckily enough, neither of us gets really hit with that. It's just Lucatiel who sucks up all of the damage. He's starting to come for us because we start over aggroing him. The other guy then stopped firing, luckily enough, so that he didn't get killed. Lucatiel picks up the aggro, and then the boss is defeated. Boss number 17 is the Old Iron King, and the intro for this boss is absolutely awesome. I love the way that he comes out of the lava and walks over to start kicking our ass. Well, on this fight I managed to bring in an NPC with me and another player. The other player really didn't do much because he was a melee character, and this fight is really set for casting characters if you want to do some serious damage. Anyway, this guy walks over and we stand on a little island in the middle of the lava, and we have to fight him and make sure that we don't fall off either into the lava or get killed by him. As you can see, I had to retrieve the souls that I dropped, and there was quite a few, so I didn't want to leave them behind. I managed to go over to this corner though and start hitting him. This is where I always stand, just so that I can use the line of sight wall there. He also does a move though where he does like a laser beam out of his hand that will go through this wall and will kill you. So you just have to make sure that that you don't get caught by it. There you go, that's the laser beam that I was talking about. He does that for a few seconds, and as long as you're not caught in it, you shouldn't take too much damage. He also does the fire breathing, which if you stand here, he can't get you with, and then he's going to disappear underneath the lava. Hopefully he'll come up, back up on this other side again, so that we can hide behind that wall once more, as he has done, which is really good. Now he does a swipe, he does a punch, and he does a double punch as well. He's got several other moves that he can do, but here he's going with his laser again. We get out of the way, and the other guy starts smacking him on the hand pretty well. We keep on smashing him now from distance with our soul arrows, and our soul geyser, sorry, that was a spell that I just cast there that seems to take a hell of a lot of energy off him. I keep on firing at him, and it doesn't take long for him to go down, but just keep in mind that if he starts breathing fire at you, to get behind that wall out of the line of sight, but that laser beam will go through the wall and will kill you and push you into the lava. There we go, boss defeated. Boss number 18 is the Rotten, and he can be found down in a black gulch where you get poisoned so much. Anyway, you go into the boss fog and you can see that he's standing there. He's just a mass of souls all bound together, trying to build or put a head back onto one of the poison statues that we've already destroyed as we've gone down to him. He gets a bit pissed off and frustrated that he can't do it, and he thinks that he's going to take it out on you with his massive cleaver when he turns around and realises that you're standing there making fun of him. So he's going to come after us. I took into this fight the NPC Lucatiel, who can also be found in this area outside, pretty much next to the bonfire. So what I did, I got her to come in and take the aggro. Luckily enough, she doesn't come in before we've already started the fight. So I have to run over here, get the souls that I've already dropped. 79,000 souls isn't something to be left alone. So as he's there, he starts chopping at us with his cleaver. We just roll out the way, allow Lucatiel to start picking up the aggro of the Rotten, and then that makes this fight so much easier than it should be. I just stand here firing over these soul arrows, and Lucatiel just stands there tanking the boss. Easy peasy. The thing is, if you do this on your own without Lucatiel, it's just a case of having to roll around the area, fire a soul spear off, roll a bit more, fire a soul spear off. As a caster, this fight is pretty simple. Couple more shots, because Lucatiel's eating the damage, no problems. And as you can see, you know what's coming. Boss defeated! Boss number 19 is Scorpioness Najka, and she can be found in the Shaded Woods area of the game. Also, while you're over there, there is a guy that you can speak to, but you need to purchase a ring from the cat all the way back in Majula before you can do that. Once you've got that ring, you speak to him and he will come and help you on this fight, which makes this fight a lot easier than anything when you're a caster or a melee player. Unfortunately, I didn't allow him to get enough time to get some aggro, and Najka's coming for me with her Homing Crystal Soul Mask. Unluckily for me, I didn't dodge out of the way of it. But anyway, he then picks up the aggro and he starts fighting it, and we can then attack from distance. Now, a lot of people compare this fight to the Kellag fight from Dark Souls 1. The only thing that's the same is that it's a female atop of some arachnid body, but instead of it being a spider this time, it's a scorpion. Now, the moves that she does, the scorpion tail strike that she has there, that can kill you in one shot, and it really does hurt. if she catches you with it. She also does a tail swipe, and she'll try and hit you with the sort of hook staff thing that she's holding. And she will also do several magic spells. The other thing she does is goes underground. Now when she goes underground, that means that she's going to come up underneath you and do an attack. So I always try and cast this crystal homing soul mass so that when she comes up, it should fire at her. So unfortunately for me that time, it didn't fire at her, so she's taken a shitload of my health, so I need to heal up quickly, and now I need to make sure that I dodge out of the way of Crystal Soul Mass that she cast at me, and then I hit her with several right back in the face, and as you can see, it's boss defeated. So, boss number 20 is the Dragon Rider duo fight. Now, earlier on in the game, we fought one of these on their own. In this one, you walk into the boss fog, and there's a guy sitting down right at the back, and then up in the top corner is another guy who will join in the fight if you get this other Dragon Rider down to half of his health. But he is up there firing these massive arrows that do a shit ton of damage to you, as you can see. So what I did, I went down and started attacking this guy, while the NPC and the other player started attacking the other Dragon Rider. I got hit a couple of times. This was a bit of a pig's ear attempt, and we managed to do it luckily enough, but it could have gone a lot better. I mean, the people who were fighting that other Dragon Rider started losing aggro. The NPC started just firing at random stuff and missing completely. And then the guy who we actually took in with us got vanquished. I got hit several times, but I managed to just keep rolling out the way. The way of doing it when you're on your own is to just keep rolling and firing every now and then, but keep an eye on where the two Dragon Riders are at all times, because if one of them sneaks up behind you and hits you with the axe, all the other one has to do is an overhead smash and you're knackered and you'll be dead. So just keep on firing at them. Once you've got one down, it makes it a lot easier. Once they're both down, boss is defeated. Boss number 21 is probably my most favourite boss in the whole of any Dark Souls, and it's the Mirror Knight. I think it's the ambience of the fight, where it's chucking it down with rain, there's lightning going on, you fire special soul arrows at him and they rebound off his mirrored shield, or is it because the other characters come out of his shield to actually attack you from the mirror world? It's absolutely awesome. I love this fight. I take in two of the NPCs who can be found outside, who will tank him while I get into a better position, and I just keep on shooting the Mirror Knight from distance. Now, he'll do these orbs sometimes, and they will fire across the area at you. They don't go all the way across the area, so as soon as you got far enough back, they will stop. He does a jumping attack, and as I said, he also does this mirror smash where people will come out of the mirror. I think unfortunately this time we might kill him before he manages to get somebody come out of his mirror, which is a bit of a shame because it looks absolutely awesome when they come out of there. This is, as I say, one of my favourite bosses. He's vanquished one of the NPCs, and as you can see, someone is coming out of his mirror now, but we managed to kill him just as the extra NPC comes out to fight us, and the boss is defeated. Boss number 22 is the Demon of Song, and once you've made your way through the area, you come to a giant pool of water with what looks like a massive frog. This frog has got its mouth wide open, and inside is the demon's face. Now, the only time that you can do damage to this demon is when the frog's mouth is open. He does several moves, one where he'll slide across the actual map at you, the other one he'll try and hit you with his hands, he will jump up in the air and come down with a massive smash, And he also does another move where he fires a big jet of water at you, which I actually get caught by in a second because I completely didn't see it coming, and he nearly took me out in that one shot. So luckily enough I managed to heal myself up, but you can only hit him or do any damage to him when he's got his face open. So anything that goes and hits him when the face is down, it's a waste of a shot. And when you're a caster, you want to try and save as many shots as you can and make them count. As you can see, he's coming across to try and grab me, and then he does a massive jump up in the air, which if that lands on you as well, that will one-shot you. Just keep rolling out the way, keep on moving. Best way to do it is kite him around the area. He's not too fast, he doesn't do too much damage with the moves that he actually does. The only one that really hurts you is the jet of water, really, if he catches you with that. But try and get back into range if he jumps back out the way, and keep shooting him as soon as he pulls the face up. Boss defeated. Boss number 23 is the Royal Aegis Velstadt, and he's down in the crypt. Now what we do, we fight our way, and you have to fight your way through a dragon rider and his two cronies as well outside this guy's room. Once you've done them, you manage to go through, and Velstadt is in there waiting for you to come in and start the fight. Now this guy isn't too hard as long as you keep out the way of him. He will smash you with his mace, he does some dark damage, and he will try to just keep on swinging and hitting you with it. If you can fire from distance, this makes the fight a hell of a lot easier. The other thing you can do, there's two other NPCs that you can take in, and usually there is a load of players' names that are actually waiting to get in on this fight as well to help people out, because it gives 20,000 souls whenever you help out as well with this fight. So the way I did it, I managed to get the Grave Warden to come in with me and left him to tank the guy. Halfway through the fight, he'll stop what he's doing and he'll start ringing his bell. For some reason, he doesn't seem to take as much damage from then on, but with the damage that I'm doing, it's not really a kind of problem for me. But he does hit really hard if he gets you, and he can one-shot you with his overhead smash, so just be aware of that. Other than that, stay at a distance, keep shooting at him, and even if you're playing it on your own and don't have a tank with you, you can do this by just rolling around and firing soul arrows at him, and it takes a bit longer than normal, but he does go down, and then the boss is defeated. Boss number 24 is the Guardian Dragon. Now this isn't really a boss as such, it's more of a mini boss because there's 3 other Guardian Dragons that you have to fight. Well, you don't have to, but you can fight when you get to the Dragon Aerie. Well, the easiest way of doing this fight is to try and stay close to him and just shoot him. He does a tail whip, he breathes fire, and he flies in the air and breathes fire. Just try to stay out of the fire and keep shooting at him. He does go down really easily if you keep hitting him with the soul arrows. He got me with the fire there. I shouldn't have really fired the soul arrow, but managed to get through and get up, and a couple of shots. Even when he goes up in the air as a caster, you can hit him and the boss is defeated. Boss number 25 is the Ancient Dragon. Now you don't have to fight this dragon if you don't want to, but after he's given you the Ashen Mist Heart, you don't really need him for anything else. And when you do kill him, he gives you over 200,000 souls on a New Game Plus, and he also gives you a soul that allows you to kill King Vendrick a lot easier. So, Even though he's not a needed boss, he is good to actually kill. Let's go through the strategy because it's a bit of a nightmare. When he takes off, you need to try and run at his tail, otherwise you'll be hit by the fire like I was then. He will then come down and land. His wings will flap and that means he's going to take off again. You try and hit him when he's landed on the floor and not when he's up in the air. Also, try and get to his tail every time when he starts taking off in the air because he breathes down that fireball. If you manage to do it and get to his tail, you won't get hit by the fire, and when he lands it's a lot easier to get the shots off and kill him. Also, this fight does take quite a while, so make sure that you've got enough food and spell food in your inventory to allow you to be able to continue with this fight. Be careful if you get caught by the fire because he will come down and land on you with his feet or his tail, and that will be a one-shot kill and you'll be dead. When he's down on the floor, you need to try and get as many shots off as you can, and then if he takes off, run at his tail once more. Now, a lot of this fight, though, is down to luck and the positioning of the dragon. Sometimes the dragon will get to a point where he will be hanging over the end of the actual platform that you're standing on. Now, this can be a problem because he will breathe fire and that will knock you off the platform, or he will just tail swipe you off the platform, or he'll turn around and breathe fire at you underneath himself and knock you off the platform. So try and get him to position himself not on the edge of the area. That was very close, he nearly landed on me with his feet. And try and bring him back over towards the middle if you can. If you do lose where his tail is, like I did then, luckily enough he landed awkwardly and in a better position, to be honest with you. If you do lose his tail, try and find out where his tail is going to be and head for it as soon as you can without getting hit by the fire. Keep on shooting the soul arrows at him, keep on shooting the crystal soul arrows at him, and also use soul geyser on this dragon. Halfway through the fight, you will probably run out of stuff to be able to cast spells. So if you've got any of the Rouge Water or the Crimson Water, use that because it will boost all of your health back up, and it will also allow you to keep on shooting off the spells at the dragon. Keeping your health up is one of the main things in this battle because of the fire. The fire is what kills you, not the dragon really. But just keep on shooting at his back legs and running away from him as soon as he takes off. And after a while, he will go down, I promise. It takes a long time for this fight. And especially on a New Game Plus fight. If you do this on your very first fight of the game of Dark Souls 2, be prepared for a long, frustrating time. Anyway, boss is defeated. Boss number 26 is the Giant Lord, and he is found in one of the memories. In this, you can take in an NPC with you, and you have to fight your way across his battlements first. You've got to be careful because there's a load of fire that comes down and lands on you, and it can kill you, so you've got to be careful as you go across. That Bernard of Juno's just decided to be a bit psycho and go running straight across, no messing. We're going to take the easier way. Once you get all the way over here, you'll see that there's some giants that are fighting on the top of this battlement still, and there's a massive skull that starts rolling down. He will take out the giant for you, and then you're able to carry on running straight past. At the very end of this battlement is the Giant Lord. You can see him from here. The best thing to do is allow Bernard of Juno to go in and get the attack on him first, and then we try and stay at a safe-ish distance behind him so that we can then keep on firing the spells at him. You've got to be careful because he does like a swipe with his sword behind him, and he does a swipe with his sword in front of him. He will also stamp down on you as well if you get too close. Other than that, just keep on smacking him and he will go down pretty quick. Beware though, the swipe there. Look, he just had to get out the way of that. Luckily enough, he's going to try and stamp on us now. We roll out the way. Unfortunately, we rolled under his foot. We needed to smell what his feet were like. And, well, we've healed up now, so luckily enough for us, we didn't get killed, but that can cause a hell of a lot of problems if you haven't got as much health as what I have on this character. But the boss is defeated, and he gives you another soul to help kill King Vendrick. Boss number 27 is King Vendrick, and he can be found in the room just past where you fought Velstadt. Now, he'll be walking around in that room, dragging a sword around, and he won't be aggroing you to start with. If you have gone and got the 5 souls of the giants, you will then be able to carry on and fight this boss. Now, this boss will hit really hard, and he will one-shot you with his overhead smash. He does a 3 swipe in front of him, and he will also jump at you, and he can also curse you as well. The way that I do this fight is to stand behind him just on his back leg and keep shooting up the Crystal Soul Spear or the normal Soul Spear or a Soul Geyser, and he does go down eventually. You probably might need a little bit of food as well, because you could run out of the spells eventually. But if you don't run out of the spells, you can just keep shooting him. Now, this is where it becomes a problem when he gets you on the other side of that sword. All you need to do, try and get back out of the way, roll out of the way of his overhead smashes, and get back into just behind his leg. Just make sure he doesn't fart on your head, because it stinks. The more of the giant souls that you have, there is 5 in total, the more damage you will do to him as you fight him. If you go in with just 1 soul, you will do barely any damage. 2 souls makes a fight still pretty difficult. 3 souls makes it doable. 4 souls makes it really easy. And 5 souls, like I have got, makes it a bit of a cakewalk. All you have to do, though, is just make sure that he doesn't hit you with that damn sword. It's all about positioning of where you stand, and as you can see, he's going down pretty quickly. Need to just eat some food because we've run out of enough of the spells to be able to kill him off, so we've got to be careful that he doesn't actually jump at us here and kill us with a one-shot overhead smash, which he doesn't. We can get back in just behind him, drink up the crimson water, and then we've got several more shots at him, which we only need 1 because it's boss defeated. So, boss number 28 is the Throne Watchers, and you have to go back to the castle after killing King Vendrick, and you go into the throne room, and then you will be able to fight these 2 guys who are down here. Well, not 2 guys, one's a woman, one's a guy. My advice is to take in other players with you, because this is like the Ornstein and Smile fight from Dark Souls 1. In this fight, though, we took in someone who was a bit of a loser, and he just stood out the way and didn't bother helping with the fight. He was actually at his keyboard, because you see him moving a little while, but he was a bit of a douchebag there, stood at the side watching us do all the hard work. Now, these 2 you need to kill at around the same time, because if you don't, then what happens is the one will regen all of his health, and it will make the fight last a hell of a lot longer. We got unlucky there because one of our characters got killed. It's good to take in some melee characters who can take the aggro. Finally, that guy then wakes up and decides that he's going to help us with the fight. You can see that the female Throne Watcher has gone down, and now it is just a DPS race to smash down the other boss. And there we go, boss defeated. Boss number 29 is Queen Nashandra. So after we've defeated the king and the Throne Watchers, it's time to come and kill the actual queen. When you defeat her, there's also another boss that pops up called Aldir. Now, for some reason, I didn't manage to get him on a video. I don't understand what went wrong, but I've completely missed him out. So if you want to go and see him, just type Aldir into YouTube. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other videos up showing that boss fight. But Queen Nashandra is the final boss of this game. We need to defeat her. She will curse us. She also does dark magic, and you can't do dark magic to her. Basically, if you are a dark magic caster, you are absolutely useless in this fight. Other than that, she takes a lot of damage from normal magic, so that is very good on my behalf because that's what I am. So the fight starts, and she starts off over at the far side. She'll cast these 4 like little curse bubbles that pop up around her. We need to quickly go and melee them down because they are what cause the damage to us and curse us so that we turn hollow and we can die. We then go and attack her from distance. She will try doing a scythe swipe to the melee players. She will then also do a big explosion every now and then, which everyone has to move away for because that will one-shot you. And also she does like an orb laser beam that really does cause some damage. Luckily for us though, we're able to just stand out the way, roll out the way if we need to, and just shoot her from distance. She is taking a lot of damage from us, which is really good, and she's going down pretty quick. Unfortunately, one of the other players got vanquished. I don't understand. I think he may have been cursed and not realised it, but we carried on and we took her down to Funky Town, no problems at all. And there we go, boss defeated. It's time for the DLC bosses. So, after defeating all the bosses, it's time for the Grave Robbers in the Sunken King DLC. Now, this boss isn't really a boss as such. There's 3 guys who you have to defeat. One of them looks like Havel, one of them looks like a bandit, and I can't remember what the other one looks like. I think it's like a knight. There he is, it's the knight. And basically, you just have to kill all 3 of them. Now, it makes it a little bit easier that you're able to take in other NPCs with you and do things like that. Or you could take in other players with you. Luckily enough, I took in some extra players. In getting to this actual area is the nightmare. And for some reason, what I don't understand is my weapon breaks halfway through this fight for no apparent reason at all. I was just doing nothing different than what I had been doing previously. The only thing that I could think of is because on the way to this fight, you have to keep smashing statues like that you have to do in the Black Gulch area of the game. But these statues in this area do a different type of damage to you. Anyway, we did this pretty easily. We managed to do it in a one-shot, really. Didn't have much trouble. It was just a case of having to change my weapon halfway through the fight, which was a bit of a pain in the ass. But once the one of them had gone down, it wasn't too bad. The guy who was using the bow and arrow suddenly stopped using the bow and arrow, and as you can see, I've had to change my staff at this point. Luckily enough, I've got plenty of other staffs in my inventory, so we change it over. And we carry on just casting them soul arrows back at these bad guys. But yeah, these 3 grave robbers, they aren't too hard. There's Havel again. This will be probably the 2nd or 3rd time that we've actually fought Havel in this game. The other time was where we were doing the dark area, where you have to go and fight the Dark Lurker. There's a Havel guy in that area and he hits like a train. This one doesn't seem to hit that hard, if I'm honest with you. But then again, I'm a caster and I'm out the way of it. Anyway, boss is down, boss defeated. Boss number 2 of the Sunken King DLC is Elana, the Squalid Queen. Now, a lot of people seem to have a problem with this woman. I didn't find it that difficult, if I'm honest with you. I went in with another player and 2 of the NPCs that can be found just outside her room, and we went in and started shooting her from a distance. I didn't really go anywhere near her. She got me with a couple of fireballs, but that's about it really. Whenever she tried to cast a spell, I just moved out the way, and other people were hitting her down there. Halfway through the fight, though, she manages to spawn a Velstadt character. Now, I don't know if that's where people seem to have a problem with this fight, or the skeletons that she spawns, but they seem to go down pretty quickly and not really bother me. So I don't understand what the deal was as to why people find this fight so difficult. I actually found other fights in the DLC a lot harder. She keeps catching me near enough with that fireball though. That's the only damage move that she seems to do to me as a caster from distance. Now, as you can see, she's there trying to summon the other character, the Velstadt character. Now, unfortunately, our player got killed there. But we just stay out of the way. We let the NPCs keep on doing their DPS to her and keep on tanking her. And as you can see, when it happens, she'll spawn the Velstadt character and he comes after me. So all I do is I take him down while the NPCs take her down. And because I kind of know how to fight this boss anyway, I don't really have a problem. It's just a case of keeping out the way of her magic that she will cast at me while I'm fighting Velstadt, and giving her the odd smack as well at the same time. Cast some fireball there pretty much on herself, which took down the NPCs. But yeah, we then decided that you can't attack Elana while this Velstadt character is up. So I kind of decided that I had to take him down really quick. So he got stuck, luckily enough, not being able to get to me. I don't know what he was stuck on there, whether it was the NPC characters or there was like a piece of floor that he got stuck on, but it seemed to work and it allowed me to take a chunk of his health off. Anyway, as soon as he goes down, oh god, he nearly got me there. As soon as he goes down, Elana becomes available to hit again. So once we take him down with his final shot, we start going back to her while she's doing all of her dark magic to the people who are near to her. I just sit there casting from a distance and not really having a problem. And as you can see, the boss, slowly but surely, is defeated. So, the third and final boss of this Crown of the Sunken King is Sinh, the Slumbering Dragon. Now, when we go into this fight, it's just through the alcove, just past Elana. We go into this fight, and he's at the far end, and we kind of wake him up instead of allowing him to carry on slumbering. Now, he does a fire-breathing thing that does a toxicity damage to you rather than a fire damage, and he also flies up in the air and comes down on you. He shoots fireballs at you and basically tries to smash you around. Luckily enough, he took us out near enough there in one shot. He didn't know, he didn't manage to do it, and we're able to get our health back up. The only thing is he's casting that poison fireball near to us. So what we did, we just basically stood at distance away from him and kept shooting at him. Melee characters are kind of really redundant in this fight until the actual dragon lands on the floor. The main damage that you could do as a caster is when he's up in the air, which is really good. You can always constantly hit him as a caster, even though I missed on that occasion. But yeah, I just carried on shooting him. I don't know why I shot over there at distance, that was a bit silly. But there was other NPCs that are in the room previously to this, what you can call in and get them to help you out with this fight. But it's just a case of staying out of the fire, staying out of when he's flying directly at you, and just keep shooting as and when you can. Eventually, when you take down this dragon, you do get the Crown of the Sunken King, which is the end of the first part of this DLC. And the next part will be into the Iron Keep again, and the Rune Tower, where we have to go and get the Iron King crown. That'll be the next DLC bosses that we fight. Yeah, pretty tough as well. But it seems to me that all of the DLC bosses are deliberately done to make you co-op with either other people or taking other NPC characters, because I think fighting these on your own would be really difficult. I do think that this sort of fight is one for a crowd of adventurers rather than someone trying to solo it. Props to the people who can solo this fight. You know, I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I'm saying that I can imagine it being very difficult. You can see we just keep out the way and keep firing at him every now and then. Eventually we do manage to get the win over him. It just takes a long time. This fight seems to be the longest fight out of all of them. I don't know why, but this seems to be the longest fight out of every single dragon that I've faced. Even longer than the ancient dragon fight, if I'm honest with you. Nearly got me there. Need to just roll out the way and heal up. And then we're going to hit him with a few more soul arrows if we can. Oh, that's got us, and we're in the toxicity as well. We need to get out of that, because that causes a lot of damage to us that we don't need. Let's try and keep out the way of his tail swipe as well, because that plus he does like a jumping tail swipe after we've got him halfway down, so we just have to keep standing back out the way. It does feel to me like there's a lot of standing back and allowing the melee characters to do a lot of the damage when he's on the floor, because of being a cloth wearer. Obviously if he hits you, it's going to hurt you and probably kill you. Luckily I've got a pretty high HP for a cloth wearer now, as I started chucking a load of points in there. I mean, I got my intelligence up to, I think it was 99, and I think also my other spellcasting ability is very high on this. So, yeah, you have to... The fates of it's fate. Unfortunately, our player character just gets vanquished just as we defeat the boss, but boss defeated! So it's time for the Crown of the Old Iron King DLC, and the first boss is the Fume Knight. Now, a lot of people say that this is the hardest boss in any Dark Souls game. I would agree if you're playing as a melee character on your own, because this is an absolute nightmare. I did it with my melee character, and it was a lot harder than what it was with a caster. Now, what I did, I also took in this time 2 of the NPCs that I could summon from outside, and I also took in a player character who was outside the actual boss fog as well. Now, the first thing to do before taking on this boss is make sure that you take down all of the red glowing orbs around him. Them totems that are actually around the guy will heal him and make this boss pretty much impossible to beat without, well, at all. Basically, you can't beat him with the orbs up outside this room. So take them down first. Once you've taken them down, go and summon everything, and then come back in and fight this guy. He's got 2 phases. The first phase is where he uses the 2 swords. Then once you do get him down to about halfway, he goes on to just the 1 sword. And this is where it seems to cause a lot of people problems. You have to roll out of the way, because if he hits you with that sword, it's pretty much a one-shot. I was there trying to roll out of the way. It's that long distance thing that he does. You can't roll backwards because he can still hit you from it. Luckily, I'm standing very far away from him now. He also does several balls of fire that travel from him outside in a like zigzag kind of way that you have to roll through. I think we actually kill him before he actually gets that move off, which is pretty lucky. But as you can see, he didn't cause our group too much problems. Just basically get out of the way when he's coming to attack you, and the boss is defeated. The second boss of this Crown of the Old Iron King DLC is the Smelter Demon number 2. Now, we fought this boss earlier, and he was the one where he was on fire. Well, this one now has got a really cool blue flame inside him, The only thing is, he is immune to magical damage, so you can only use dark magic on him this time. I managed to find 2 NPC characters that I could take in to help me tank him, as well as one of them isn't Lucatiel. It got a bit mad really, because I thought that they were going to lose the aggro, but luckily enough they didn't. They tanked him pretty well, and I was able to just keep firing at him from a distance, even though it took quite a while to take him down with the dark magic. That is the only thing that I was able to cast at him, and I hadn't at this point got a lot of the dark magic done, because on this game, the DLC bosses I was actually doing for the first time. This is the first time that I tried any of them out. I wasn't doing them on an NG Plus or the NG Plus or whatever else it was that I did the rest of the game with. This was pure first time attempts at these bosses that I managed to beat them with. As you can see, he does pretty much the same damage and the same moveset as the old Smelter Demon in the old Iron Keep, and basically as long as you can stay out of the way and allow the other players to tank him as a caster, you can stand back, not get hit, and just do the damage to him. Eventually he will go down. Just make sure that you don't over aggro the other players or the NPCs so that he comes at you. There we go. As you can see, a couple more hits. Fortunately, one of our NPCs got destroyed and vanquished, but the Smelter Demon number 2 is down. Boss defeated. The third boss of this Old Iron King DLC is Sir Alonne. Now this guy can be found in the Memory of the King, and this is an absolute nightmare of a fight. It seems to be completely random as to who he attacks, and if you're a caster casting from distance, you need to be holding a shield, because he will come and he will attack you on a random attempt. It's really weird the way that this boss works. I kind of didn't understand what was going on. It was just a case of shoot when I could, block when I could, get out the way when I could. I also had to use some food, I think it was halfway through this fight, just because I ran out of spells, because he does dodge out of the way sometimes when you cast the spells at him. I took in 2 NPCs that I could find at the very start of this area, and I also found that there was a player who was also waiting outside the boss fog who wanted to come in and help out with this fight. I can't actually remember if he makes it all the way through. But as you can see, he does several different moves. One of them is where he slides across the floor and does an uppercut slash. Another one, he will grab you and get you on the end of his sword and smash you into the floor. And then he also does a dark magic sort of swipe, which goes across the whole distance of the room. And he will also do a jumping slash. Basically, try and stay away from him, because he does hurt when he hits you. He doesn't have any mercy, and basically the only thing I can say is just make sure that it isn't you that's getting hit. As you can see here, I got caught on the end of the sword, and I was very lucky. When he catches somebody on the end of his sword, it seems to make his sword even more powerful as well. So if you're in a group where somebody constantly keeps getting caught up on the sword, you could end up having a serious problem. As you see, the other player got taken out there pretty much straight away, because he got caught with a slash from that sword. Eventually the enraged sword does go away, and it goes back to normal, and he doesn't do half the damage as what he's doing at the moment. This fight did take several attempts, and it took a hell of a long time to get through it, if I'm honest with you. So be prepared for frustration, be prepared for tears, be prepared for anger, be prepared to swear at your screen a hell of a lot. And as you can see, I'm there trying to get him down before he kills the last person of our party, because that would be an absolute problem for us if that happens. So as you can see, we started off with 4, we are now down to 2, and it's just the complete randomness of the attacks that he does. Anyway, we still managed to get several spells cast off at him, but we seem to miss as well a lot. I don't understand what the missing was all about there either. As you can see, I'm not doing the sort of damage that I was doing after I was playing the NG+++ sort of game. So this boss was actually really difficult. Probably one of the hardest bosses I think that I've fought. I actually found this boss more difficult than Sinh the Slumbering Dragon and the Fume Knight, if I'm honest with you. Sir Alonne, you are a pain in the arse. And the cheer that I was able to give when I did finally beat this guy, I think you would have heard it the other side of the world, because it was one of them sort of, thank God that's fucking done. Anyway, as you can see, we are nearly done. One more hit will take him down, and the boss is defeated, and we can go and get our Iron Crown. So now it's time for the Crown of the Ivory King DLC, and the first boss that we're going to do is Lud Zallen. Now, to find out, to be able to see these bosses, you have to go and collect the Princess's Eye, which is towards the end of the first sort of area of this DLC. So you have to go and get that first, and then you're able to see these 2 tigers that want to fight us. Now, one of them does magic, the other one, I can't remember what he actually does. He enrages, if I remember rightly. Basically, they run around, and we've taken in a load of NPCs and another player as well, just to make it so we've got a decent party. Because, as I said before, all of these fights in the DLC are better off if you're co-opt. It seems that they take a hell of a lot more damage if you're not co-op with them. So it's better to go and take a party in to fight these bosses, and it makes it a lot more fun as well. Anyway, as you can see, fire works really well on these guys, as does magic, and basically you need to just try and keep out the way of them. The best thing to do is try and take Lud down as fast as you can. That way, when the other one enrages, you don't have to concentrate on 2 tigers. You can just keep an eye on the one and keep out the way of it, basically. They do jump around the map quite a bit, and they do pour you down near enough. That nickel, God, that was a bit bad by me. I should have got a bit closer with the fireball. Let's get a heal going, and we'll run over and see if we can finish off that guy. I didn't see that he was even casting spells at me there. I thought he was casting at somebody else. And once again, we got caught by another cast as well. That was a bit poor. Anyway, we managed to roll out the way of that one, and we need to try and take down this guy before he enrages. Let's get a fireball on him, and he moved out of the way just as I casted it. God damn it. Right, one of them is down, and now we just have to concentrate on this guy. As you can see, he is going to enrage in a second, and I think he changes colour when he enrages. Basically, we can now just stay back, out the way of him, dodge in and getting the shots off as and when we need to. That was a nice soul geezer that caught him there. It took quite a lot of his health though. As you can see, he's starting to do a lot more damage. He's in enrage form, so we managed to stay out the way of him, and we've got to just hope that he doesn't do that charge and jump on top of you now, because that will one-shot us. Here's the enraged part, sorry. Now where he's got the fire around him. Now we just have to basically stay out the way of him. And he also, I think, heals up at this point as well. But the thing is, he will only stay enraged for a minute and a half or 2 minutes, I think it is. So basically, best thing to do is just stay out of his way for that amount of time. He doesn't take much damage when he's enraged either. And if you're a caster, that can be a bit of a problem. As long as you've got casting food to be able to be eaten, you'll be able to carry on fighting. If not, then it's best to just wait until the enrage goes off, and then you'll be able to take him down. Them soul arrows that I'm casting are doing absolutely nothing. Completely missed with that soul geyser as well, which was really bad. And as you can see, the enrage has now gone off him. So we should be able to take him down. I'm glad that the enrage went off just as he hit me, because that would have been a one-shot and probably taken me out straight away. As you can see though, the boss is defeated. So, the second boss of the Ivory King Crown DLC is Aava, the King's Pet, and this one works pretty much the same as the previous bosses. It's a tiger on its own that stops you from getting into the cathedral. Before you go and fight it though, you have to go and get the princess's eye, otherwise you won't be able to see it and take this boss on. Now when I did this, I used dark magic because apparently this boss is more vulnerable to dark magic, and I also took in a party of other players who were waiting around to try and do this boss. So the four of us went and we tried to kick this tiger's ass once more. Now this tiger does pretty much the same as the other tigers that you saw just previously on this video. They do the same sort of casts. The only difference is that this tiger doesn't seem to enrage. Apparently though, dark magic and fire does a ton of damage to him. So as you can see, we managed to stand far away back, casting spells at him, the dark magic, usual moves, because this was, as I say, the first time before playing a new game, plus before I'd actually leveled up my dark magic, so I wasn't really hitting that hard on this boss. But the other players in this fight managed to do a lot more of the damage than what I did. I felt like a bit of a spectator, if I'm honest, but we have to learn all the fights as we do them, and I did this so that you guys can see this fight as well. I actually used a bit of pyromancy as well for a change. Somebody got vanquished there, I remember that happening, but obviously it went from 4 to 3. But the thing is, we've got him down to nearly 2/3 of his health gone. Last third to go, and the fire seemed to take a shitload of damage off him. He does cast still some soul arrows, like what the Scorpioness Najka does to you as well. But you're able to dodge them. All of the moves seem to be pretty easy to dodge out the way. I completely missed with that fire. Chaos Fire, or whatever it's called, Chaos Storm, sorry. Completely missed with that one, but I didn't miss with this one, and that got him. He's on the other end though, for some reason. We need to heal up, so we'll do a bit of that, and then hopefully we can... Oh god, he jumped on us and nearly took us down. Right, let's get back, heal up, and then fire some more dark magic at him from distance, and hopefully we'll be able to take him down this time. He's nearly dead. As I've said previously, all of the bosses in the DLC seem to be sort of designed to play as a co-op boss, and this one is probably one of the main ones for being a co-op boss. The next boss that you will see is definitely a co-op boss, but as you can see, this boss has finally gone down. Boss defeated! So it's time for the third and final boss of the Crown of the Ivory King DLC, and this is the Burnt Ivory King. Now, on this DLC, we've had to go around finding a load of knights who can come and help us with this battle. There are 3 other knights to find, as well as the one that you get at the top of this area. You can then also take in 3 other players with you to help on this fight. And, well, you all drop in and it starts. And it's a bit of a clusterfuck to begin with. You have to keep fighting all of these knights that keep spawning out of the portals. Once you've killed 10 of them, I think it is 10 anyway, one of the portals will freeze over by one of our knights walking into it. And this continues to happen until so many of these other knights are dead. I can't remember what the name is. I think they're called Light Knights or something like that. Well, as soon as we've taken out so many of them, the actual Ivory King will make his presence known, and then we have to turn all of our attention to him. The main thing that I need to do though for this part of the fight is just basically survive, because it seems a little bit random as to who these people attack. Now I have to keep on healing myself, and while I'm firing out all of these different magical spells, I've got to make sure that I keep on top of that with wizard food as well. So we just keep on killing shit until the king makes his special guest appearance. As you can see, one of the portals is frozen up, so less of the knights will start appearing now throughout this fight. The more of these knights we take down, the easier it is to fight against the Ivory King. And I went round and collected all of the extra knights. You don't have to go and get all of the knights to help you with this fight, but it does make this fight a hell of a lot easier. As you can see at the back where the bed of chaos looks like it is, you can see a massive portal opening now, and that is where the Ivory King is going to spawn from. Now we've got 2 of the other knights who are going to help us out fighting this king for now, till the one goes over and closes up that final portal you can see at the back just underneath where the bed of chaos is. Then you've got the other players who are going to help us out to fight this Ivory King. The fire is burning on that portal, so another one of these light knights is going to come out. Here you go, you can see the one guy fighting him now. The other portal has been blocked up now with a frozen knight, and we've got 2 knights basically left. Now here's the main guy, the Ivory King himself. He's come straight for me, and he's the one who I need to keep out of the way of. It's nice if we can get the knight to fight him, really, because then it doesn't really matter if the knight takes the damage and gets killed. It's me who needs to stay alive, and with this I'm having to roll out the way and basically rely on everybody else to kill this boss, just so that we're able to do him. He takes quite a beating, if I'm honest with you, but it's very satisfying when he's gone down. And this is one of the sort of fights where you do need a co-op team to be able to fight. Look at the length of that sword. You do actually get the soul for this king at the end of the DLC, and you can go and trade in his soul to get that sword as well, which looks really cool and funky. Anyway, as you can see, we've nearly taken him down. Well, the team have nearly taken him down. I'm basically trying to stay back out the way. It makes it a lot easier when you've got that other character there to help you out. And, well, we seem to have come in with a pretty decent team who seems to know what they're doing. And with that, the boss is not defeated. He stabbed me with his sword. Oh, god damn it. Now he's defeated right at the end. There we go. Boss defeated. So I'd like to say a big thank you for watching this Dark Souls 2 boss fights video. If you like what you've seen and want to see more, click the video in the centre now to be taken to the Dark Souls 1 video. If you like what you've seen, click the like button, leave a comment in the comment section about which boss was your favourite, and also click that subscribe button to help this channel. You can like, add and follow me on Twitter, Facebook and Google+, and I also live stream on Twitch every day at twitch.tv/En-Mao. I hope to see you there. Till then, take care and bye for now.